you said the most intense feeling you've ever felt in the broadcast booth was, I believe it was your second Super Bowl when the Giants beat the Patriots. What about that made it so intense?
Well, you can let the size of the crowd when you do a Super Bowl overwhelm you if you want. And that opening on camera is one of the most intense, awkward feelings you can ever have. In fact, it was at that Super Bowl when I was standing up there in front of the lights. Troy and I are getting ready, and there was about 1:10 till we were on, and we're going to set up this game, the Super Bowl, and everybody's sitting around watching it. And our cameraman, Ben, who's always in the booth, great guy, is back there looking. He goes, "You got something in your hair." And I'm like, "What?" It starts the guy. Well, minute 10 do I go on? He goes, "I don't know. It's like a big glob of hair gel or something. You got to fix that." I'm like, "I only got them." So I unhooked, ran into the bathroom, which was out and around, and I had this big clump of hair gel. Looked like, something about Mary. And you can cut that out or don't. I don't care. And I'm shushing that through
to
my
relieve stress before the
hair.
game.
Yeah, you talk about. And then so the whole time I'm on camera during that beginning of a Super Bowl going, how bad does my hair look right now? This is awful. And I'm not really listening. So that's the aside. The real part of it is in the fourth quarter with that kind of an audience, that kind of a game where it's going back and forth and New England's looking for a 19-0 perfect season, and the Giants are on fire and playing great that postseason, and Eli is, in his brother's shadow. And I mean, it was so intense. My heart was going to jump out of my chest, not because I was scared or nervous. It just was awesome and exciting. And which is funny because one of the criticisms you'll get from a Giants fan if you go online or whatever, which I'm sure you have, is the Tyree catch, that I didn't scream and pull a groin about the Tyree catch. And the funny thing is, when you're doing that game, you have to be dead sure that what you're saying is right. And first of all, I could barely see Manning come out of there. And secondly, I couldn't see the catch all that well because it was twisted body. But it was incredible. And that whole march down the field is something I'll never forget.
I want to touch on some notable games from your career. The first one being 17 years old, and you're in the booth with your dad, and you end up getting kind of forced onto the air.
Literally. I mean, I got basically wrestled down onto the air, I guess because of guilt. But my dad and Mike were doing the game, and I was up in the back of the booth not really paying attention, and it was my 18th birthday. It was, I think, maybe 17.
You probably know better than me.
No, at this point, I think you know better than me. It was on my birthday, and it's at Shea Stadium, and I hear my dad say, "Now to take us through the fifth inning is my son, the birthday boy, Joe Buck." And I hadn't been paying attention, and I'm like, "No, please don't." And he and Mike got up and left the booth, so it was empty. And the inning starts, guy throws the first pitch, and I run down there and do it. And it was, thankfully, one of the quickest innings I've ever done in my life. It was like a pop-up, a ground out, and a strikeout. And no scoring, no nothing. And I've never heard it since. So do you have
really?
it? No, I've never heard it.
You were thrilled, though. I know you called one of your friends right afterwards, and you were excited that you got through it.
Yeah, I was.
You had another good experience at Shea Stadium, the first television broadcast that you did. You were filling in for Ken Wilson.
I was doing TV, and I'd never done TV baseball before. I'd done radio in Louisville, and I came up to fill in at Shea Stadium, and it was the worst possible scenario because they had a rain out, and so that day was a doubleheader. And they're like, whatever's going on at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock St. Louis time, that's when we come on the air. So if it's the middle of game one, if it's in between the two games, that's where we are. So when the clock strikes 7 in the East, for whatever reason, we were in the 9th inning of the first game. So we pop up on the air, and there I am doing the play-by-play of the 9th inning. And the Cardinals were winning, I think, because there was a break. And they said in the break, we're going to go through the highlights of what's happened. And I'd never done highlights in my life. So I'm like, okay. So they start running the highlights, and I can't keep up, and I don't know what's going on. And I'm trying to run on this treadmill, and I'm late, and I can't Then in between, I'm going to do a stand-up thing on camera where I look in and I recap the first game and I'm telling about the Cardinals, and then I say, and meanwhile I've caked all this brown makeup on my face because I was on TV. That's what you're supposed to do, is put makeup on your face. And I say, and now for an interview down the field, let's go to Al Roboski. And they're like, I see the person behind the camera like do this, like keep talking, because Al couldn't find his mic down on the field. So it's 150 degrees in the booth at Shea. Now, to me, it feels like 300. I start sweating. All the brown makeup is running down onto my shirt. And the earpiece pops out of my ear, and now I have no communication with anybody. And I keep saying, now let's go down to the field. Al Roboski's got an interview. The guy behind the camera's like, so I can hear the stage manager going, take the camera off him. Take the camera. So they do, and the stage manager comes up and is patting my face as I'm talking. And so it was a blessing in disguise, though, because once the second game started, I was so worn out and so frazzled, I just did the game.
Your most satisfying experience in the broadcast booth?
Probably getting through a Super Bowl clean. And I say that because it seems like when you do a game like that, there's very little upside. There's a lot of downside. You know, if you make a glaring mistake, or if you say something you shouldn't, or what, I mean, the whole world's watching. So to have done Super Bowls and have had them go pretty clean, that is really satisfying. To get in the car at the end of that game and go, all that buildup, all that hype, and I didn't make a fool out of myself, that's a good feeling.